Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. How's everybody getting along? Well, things are going to get really serious, especially during the next 24 to 48 hours, especially later Friday evening, and Friday night. We have quite a system overhead here that's going to be ejecting out of the plains and northeastward here. We're going to be taking a look at some of the areas that could really get tremendous amounts of severe weather. We're going to be watching this area throughout the day Friday to see just how far east this actually gets, Friday and Friday night. But I think there's going to be a big push, and there's also going to be a damaging wind component, not just in thunderstorms and the tornadoes, the big, massive, historic tornado outbreak that we're about to see, but also damaging winds over a large, wide area of states with this system. And this is basically the future radar. I'm going to be slowing this down for you and going through the entire timeline of what could actually unfold with this dangerous, strong to severe tornado outbreak. I think this is probably going to be one for the record books, and we'll see just how far east this could make it Friday night into early Saturday morning. As I said before, we're going to take a look at the entire damaging wind component with this entire system, not just in the thunderstorms and tornadoes, but outside as well. Let's get into it. All right, so I wanted to show you the areas that we're going to be outlining here. This is going to be a tremendous problem here as we head later on into Friday. Now, take a look. It's actually going to start a little bit further to the east than we originally thought. Places like southeastern Iowa, much of Missouri here, including Little Rock, Arkansas, all the way over towards the northwestern part of Alabama and stretching all the way, look at that, getting into Chicago. And there's going to be two areas into the moderate zone here, right around Memphis and right around Cedar Rapids eastward. So yeah, these are the extreme danger zones. We're probably going to see a potentially dangerous situation develop here. And let's actually get into the fact that this system, as we head throughout Friday evening, is going to be heading east. So places like Indiana, Ohio, the rest of Kentucky, maybe even as far east as western New York and western Pennsylvania, as we go overnight into Friday night, early Saturday morning, we could be looking at some problems, especially wind damage. But out here into parts of the Mississippi Valley, parts of the eastern plains, this is going to be a tornado outbreak. All right, so taking a look at the 700 millibar low-level jet here. This is what I really wanted to show you here. This is 2 p.m. on Friday. This is a low-level jet that's going to help getting this tornado outbreak kicked off. You can see it here, very prominent here from eastern Kansas all the way up into southeastern Iowa and Missouri here, getting into Illinois. So let's take a look at the position of this throughout the day. This is 4 p.m., This is 5 p.m. This is where things really start to kick off. You can see the low-level jet really prominent across Missouri and getting it into parts of Iowa and Illinois continuing. Now watch this as we continue in time. This gets crazy. I don't know if I've seen a low-level jet quite this potent to the north, but look at this. Getting into the Chicago area, just west of Chicago towards 7, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. This is crazy. Let's see how it unfolds here. All right, so our SIGTOR parameters, this is where things really get insane, 5 p.m. on Friday evening. Look at this, just west of Chicago. This is the fuchsia colors getting into the 4 to 5 range. Anything above a 2.5 or 3 here into the red and orange zones. This is a crazy amount of significant tornado parameter all the way down here towards Little Rock. This is where things really start to get real. The chance of tornadoes is off the charts, so to speak. And let me show you, speaking of off the charts, this, my friends, is off the charts. Take a look at this. SIGTOR parameter of 7, close to 8, here into northern part of Illinois, eastern part of Iowa, southwestern part of Wisconsin. This is insane. All the way over to Chicago, you're approaching, 3+, all the way down towards Memphis here and Little Rock. This is an insane amount of SIGTOR parameter here, and that's going to continue east as we head, towards Chicago, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., towards Indianapolis, Memphis, Jackson, Nashville by midnight and 1 a.m., and it becomes more of a damaging straight-line wind event up here into parts of the Ohio Valley. All right, so HRRR Future Radar, let's see how this thing kicks off as we head throughout Friday. So 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. You can see where the warm front is. It's pushing some convection here through the Chicago area, Indiana, parts of Illinois for that matter, and it's out of Iowa by this point. So the quicker that convection can get out of that area, the quicker the sunshine can come out and start to heat this area and get this instability going. Now watch this as we head throughout 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon. So as this rain is moving into the northeast, western New York, western Pennsylvania, look what starts to form, bingo, right into eastern Iowa here, just southeast of Des Moines. This is where I think it is going to start, right in this area. And watch this area down here into parts of Arkansas and parts of Texas here and eastern Oklahoma. Watch this fill in as we head towards 2 p.m. Yep, it's a rainy day up here from I-81 westward across the northeast, but look at here, explosive development around Little Rock, parts of northeast Texas. We go right to the north here, St. Louis. You're still clear by 2 p.m., but watch out. There's Davenport, Iowa. These areas could really start to rotate. Any of these thunderstorms, there's tremendous veering of the winds with height. There's explosive instability. SIGTOR parameter is going crazy by this point. And look at this. By 3 p.m., Little Rock is in the thick of it here. Look at this. So if you're in Little Rock and you're getting out of work early or school, there's going to be some serious problems here. And up towards parts of northern Illinois, eastern part of Iowa, please heed those tornado warnings. Back east here, we're continuing with the rain. Some of these convective thunderstorms could get a little frisky and produce some damaging wind gusts, but the big show is going to be back here across the eastern plains, and that's going to start impinging on parts of the Mississippi Valley, River Valley here. Look at this, though. Things become real here by 5 p.m. This is rush hour, and this is where I'm really concerned about some tremendous rotators here. Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Davenport. These areas, look at this line just lining up to the west. There's going to be some serious rotation going on. And just north of Chicago here, I would not be surprised if some of these begin to rotate. And then look at St. Louis here. Yeah, some of these storms, if not all of them or most of them, could become tornadic. Look at that. Little Rock down into part just north of Shreveport here. And we're starting to have cells form into eastern part of Texas here. Still continuing with the rains here into parts of the northeast. Those are going to continue to move to the northeast. So you'll pick up, a half to 3/4 of an inch. But, I'm the big story here, the big historic potential for tornado outbreak. And look at this. This is 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Look at this. These storms are booking it. They're racing. Memphis, by 8 p.m. here, you're just getting into Nashville with some of these, supercell variety thunderstorms. And then look at up towards Chicago here. Yeah, you're still clear, but look what's to your west. This is going to be, the sun setting. These are going to be some nocturnal tornadoes. And I wouldn't be surprised if we even get some stronger thunderstorms here into parts of southern Michigan. Some of these start to become a little strong here into parts of the Ohio Valley. You have some clearing here in Pennsylvania. There's the rains moving into parts of New England. But look at here, the southern portion of this line, you are not out of the woods. Shreveport, you're continuing with these supercell type thunderstorms embedded in this main line all the way down to College Station, Texas. If you're in any of these areas Friday evening, please keep an eye to the sky, keep your NOAA weather radio and your phone handy for those alerts and warnings and watches. Take a look at this. Chicago, 9 p.m. It gets real for you. Yeah, this is going to be quite an outbreak to remember here. And look at up here into parts of Michigan, all the way down to Indiana. You see the jagged variety of this line. These systems are, these storms, these individual mesoscale systems moving on to the northeast. They're like a system within a main embedded system. So when they tap into these veering of winds with height, this low-level jet that I talked to you about briefly earlier in the video, this is what I'm talking about when these thunderstorms tap into this veering of the winds with height. There is some tremendous dynamics going on with this storm. And it's not going to, let up. It's not going to switch off throughout the night, Friday night. Look at this. These storms are racing towards Nashville, Tupelo, Greenville. We're not out of the woods here in Memphis, too. Look at, we have what we call a double line here. We have this main line out ahead of it, and then we got the secondary line behind it. Now, it'll be interesting to see if the main line ahead of it becomes the main line because of all the energy. But, this system has a tremendous amount of energy anyway with it. So I would not be surprised if this kind of conglomerates and continues to be these individual supercells embedded within a main cluster or line. And look at this. This is towards 11 p.m. Louisville, all the way down to Tupelo. We're getting into western Ohio here too. South Bend, Indiana. Look at this. Even some strong storms up here into parts of Michigan. So please keep an eye to the sky. I know it's kind of hard late at night like this. Some of these storms in western Pennsylvania, they could become severe as well. And even outside of these main damaging thunderstorm line, I'm going to show you the wind field of this entire system. Even outside the thunderstorms, we could be having wind gusts 50, 55 miles per hour away from any thunderstorms because there's going to be so much wind with this system. Lots of dynamics to work with. Watch this. Let's continue to go throughout the night here. So watch midnight. So it seems like this line does not want to let up, and it's not going to. Tupelo, Greenville, we're still in the thick of it. Nashville, Cincinnati. Yeah, I would not be surprised if we still have, the threat. It's going to be mainly damaging straight line wind event by this time, but we could still have some isolated tornadoes into parts of southwestern Ohio here, even into parts of northeastern Indiana. And then we're going to stretch down into parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. That's where I'm really concerned about. Look at Lexington, Nashville area, continuing Tupelo. And then even up here into parts of the Northeast, look at some of these storms could become stronger cells here as we head throughout the night into the early morning hours. So let's continue into the early morning hours of Saturday. Look what we got going on. This line continues east towards 2 a.m., so it's clearing Cleveland by this point. East of Columbus, we're getting on the Ohio River here, and then east of Lexington by this point. We're getting out of Nashville, thankfully, but this line continues east. Watch this. Yeah, it's just going to continue barreling southeastward. Atlanta, yeah, this is 5 a.m., so you're going to have to prepare. You're going to be woken up here by some really strong thunderstorms as this continues to the southeast. And look at up here. It becomes a massive damaging straight line wind event here. Let me just back this up a few frames. This does make it through Pittsburgh, by the way. You can see on the east end of Pittsburgh. But let me just go back. There it is. So it kind of moves through the Pittsburgh area. You're definitely going to have some wind damage, I believe. And that kind of re-energizes to the east here. Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Williamsport, 7 a.m. You're going to be waking up to thunder, lightning, and damaging wind gust potential. And this stretches all the way down into the Appalachians here, down into northern Georgia, Atlanta. There it is. It's on your doorstep, all the way down into parts of southern Mississippi. And the dynamics continue with this system. Watch this. The last few frames, eastern Pennsylvania, down into Virginia, down into the Carolinas, clearing Atlanta by this point. And as we continue south and eastward, this is noon hour, 2 p.m. Here's our last frame. Yeah, we got a lot of severe weather down, continuing into parts of southern Georgia and South Carolina. But I wanted to show you a feature up here in the Northeast. Yeah, there's some stronger thunderstorms up here into northern New England as well, forming by this point. But I want to show you, draw your attention to this feature, this upper level low behind that's occluding. Look what we got forming up here in upstate New York and in northwest Pennsylvania. Some of these could contain damaging wind gusts as well. So it's not over once this main line moves to the east. We're going to have secondary development behind it. So here is the Cape. We're starting off 7 a.m. Friday morning. Now watch this unfold. Look at this. 11 noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Cape is going crazy here from northeast Texas all the way to eastern Iowa. Let's just take a look at the color coding here. 3,000. Yeah, we're approaching 3,000 joules per kilogram here. This is plenty of instability. Watch this race eastward throughout the day. Now, it does start to wane a little bit up north. This is still a tremendous amount of Cape this far north this time of year. Tornado threat running dangerously high in these areas. And watch this continue to push east as we continue with this system. Even into the Ohio Valley, we have enough instability, even into western Pennsylvania there towards 6 a.m. Saturday. It's still enough to produce some damaging wind events, and that continues to the east. And look at that Cape, even up into parts of the mid-Atlantic by 2 p.m. on Saturday. So the wind field with this system, we're taking the 6-hour average gusts here. Look at this. This is crazy. This is outside of thunderstorms. This is, mostly just with the entire system. We're already gusting into the 30s here into parts of the Ohio Valley. This is later on Friday evening. So a lot of this, starting even behind the thunderstorms for the most part. You get up towards, this is in miles per hour, so this isn't even knots. So look at this yellow area around eastern Kansas at 60 mile per hour. Look at that translate into the Ohio Valley. This is overnight, Friday night into early Saturday morning. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah, this is getting real into the low 50s for gusts. That's crazy. And look at that. Widespread 45 to 52 mile per hour gusts here into parts of the Ohio Valley. This is just after sunrise, and then we get towards noon. This is where things really start to blow up. This system's really going to bomb up here into parts of, Ontario. And the wind speed's going to continue to increase here. You can see into the Ohio Valley, into the northeast, and behind this system, yeah, there is a lot of wind. It seems to be a wind shadow, even though you're up in the upper 30s here into parts of New England. It stays mostly in the Ohio Valley, into parts of upstate New York and Pennsylvania. And those wind gusts start to subside as we head into Sunday as the system pulls away. All right, so if we take a look at the European model here, take a look at this. So this is our big blasting bomb of a storm moving across, here's Friday. It's coming into the Central Plains. That's what's giving us that major severe weather. Now watch as we continue in time here with the European run. That's going to puncture that ridge back east here Saturday. We're pushing into the northeast. We're pushing that out, and look what starts forming out west here. Yep, we get the proverbial big firecracker ridge here across the east, and look what's digging out west here. Big old trough, but look what's forming here into the Gulf of Alaska. We got a big old ridge forming. Now watch as we continue in time. Yeah, it gets more ridgy back east here. The ridging is going crazy, and it allows these systems to just pinwheel out west and move right up. And you guessed it, we're going to have more severe weather across the plains into parts of the Midwest here. And that ridge, we're in a very, very dangerous pattern for severe weather as we continue deeper into April. There's April 9th. There's another system forming across the plains which could give us some severe weather. Okay, so take a look at the rainfall amounts expected out of this system. So there it is, yeah. The big story is going to continue to be the severe weather, obviously. Thankfully, these will be fast-moving, so most areas will stay, 2 inches or under. Up here along the north, this is more stratiform up here into parts of Wisconsin, so we'll get some, heavy rain, and some of this could fall as frozen as well. We'll get into that momentarily. Up here in the northeast, upstate New York, you could get upwards of an inch here, inch and a half in some of these gully washers. But as I said, the severe weather is going to be the big thing as these continue racing to the east. And as we take a look at snowfall here, let's see, there it is. So, yeah, just literally north of the severe weather that's ongoing across eastern part of Iowa here and northern Illinois. Look what's just to your north here. Let's actually zoom in on that. So here we go. Look at the snowfall amounts here. It's a little bit further to the north than was forecast the other day, but you get the idea. Wow, we could have some snowfall into the eastern suburbs of Minneapolis here. And look at this warning criteria. Snowfall's up here into a large section of the northern half of Wisconsin, into the upper UP of Michigan here. Look at this. Some of this could be lake enhancement as well with this system, but we could be seeing blizzard conditions up here with 12 plus, some areas 24 inches of snow with winds gusting blizzard-like conditions. So here we are across the northeast. Let's take a look at your total precipitation Friday into Saturday. Look at that. Yeah, so look at that. There's that rain shadow again. Mid-Atlantic, parts of Virginia. It's going to be really interesting to see if this is going to lead to a drought as we head deeper into spring and especially summertime. Look at this. You're not getting too much here into southern New England as well, but look at back across the Ohio Valley, northwestern Pennsylvania, parts of upstate New York. You're going to be approaching an inch in many of these areas. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley. There it is, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Windy, blasting winds. Look at this. Friday, we're going to see some rain develop up to a quarter inch. 54 degrees Friday night. We stay pretty warm and toasty. 50 for a low. We start to get those chances of convection, thunderstorms, showers around up to another quarter inch. But Saturday is the big deal. We could see some severe weather on Saturday. Damaging wind is the big threat, but we could see some large hail as well, especially after 2 p.m. with that upper level low moving through. We'll make it up to 70 degrees, but watch out for wind gusts over 40 to 55 miles per hour. Sunday, we blast the cold temperatures in. 45, though, is pretty normal for this time of year. It'll feel colder. 22 for a low, 26 on Monday morning. Winds will continue to howl from Sunday into Monday, but Monday it'll turn southwesterly with winds gusting over 35 miles per hour again. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather Northeastern and Weather Eastern. Don't forget Facebook MeteoMark, Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, at Susquehanna Weather for my local page. And guess what? MeteoMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com is Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget, question or comment down below. Smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell button, share the video, and thanks for joining me.